Browns back on the practice field and, more importantly, running back Nick Chubb back on the practice field for the first time today, Mary Kay. Now, we didn't get to see him do a lot. We were only out there for the first probably 20 minutes of practice, a lot of individual work. Obviously, we don't see the team drills and things like that. But just to see number 24 back on the field, I think you could sort of feel the excitement today from players. And I know some players we heard from today were very excited to have Nick back practicing.
Yeah, it was almost surreal to see that number 24 out there. I mean, we've watched him all of these years. He's the heart and soul of the Cleveland Browns. And to be without him for all last year was just weird. To see him back out there today, it was really something. And just what this team needed. They're 1-3. They're downtrodden. They needed a lift. They got it from Nick.
Now, the Browns will have 21 days to activate Nick, so we don't know exactly when he'll be back playing in games on Sundays. But, Ashley, just again, seeing Nick out there, seeing him go through drills with Deuce Staley and the other running backs, it felt good to see Nick.
Yeah, I had a chance today to catch up with Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong Jr. Both of them talked about how excited they were to have Nick back on the field in this capacity. Of course, he's been in the facility, been in meetings, but this is just different. And I thought Jerome Ford really went to bat for him. You know, I think there's a lot of outside speculation about what kind of player is Nick Chubb going to be when he returns to the field. And Jerome Ford said he thinks he's going to be the exact same guy, that he does not think there is anything that Nick Chubb can't do.
Well, if anybody can do it, it's certainly Nick Chubb. Now, of course, Davante Adams, that was a big story yesterday, and Mary Kay. Deshaun Watson spoke today, and I know you got a chance to ask him about the Davante Adams rumors, and it sounds like he didn't really want to get too far down that road.
No, he said he is 100% behind the guys that are here. He has total faith in Amari Cooper in particular and all the rest of the guys, and he is just focused on that. He is not concerning himself with Davante Adams, who of course has asked to be traded, or DeAndre Hopkins, whom Deshaun Watson played with in Houston. He's all about getting it together with what he's got here.
Yeah, and Ashley, that vote of confidence in Amari Cooper feels very important, very intentional by Deshaun Watson, because obviously it's been a challenging start for Amari in these first 4 games.
Yeah, Amari hasn't really looked like himself. It looked like they were maybe putting some things together in that Giants loss, but last week, things were not really able to come together again against the Raiders. Now, interestingly enough, I think obviously the touchdown that gets called back, not Amari Cooper's fault that an offensive lineman got called for holding, but it doesn't feel like the same Amari Cooper this year for whatever reasons. He doesn't have those numbers that he's had here in years past. So I think it is important for the quarterback to speak publicly about still having faith and belief in him.
Now, one other injury to update, that's David Njoku. Of course, we've kind of been on this for a few weeks, him potentially coming back, but it really feels like it might actually happen this week, Mary Kay. We're getting to, what is this? This would be his 4th game since injuring that ankle, and he was actually scheduled to talk today. Now, he didn't. We ran out of time in the locker room. We're still expecting to hear from him. So that alone is a good indication that David Njoku will play this week.
Yeah, I really do think that he will be back, and I think he's going to provide a tremendous boost. Now, in the same way that Nick gave them a lift in practice, I think David will give them a lift in the football game, in the passing realm, in the blocking realm. They've really missed him in the red zone, in the end zone. He's just a very good player, a Pro Bowler, of course, and they need him back.
Yeah, and actually, it's just one more guy for a defense to have to worry about, which could open something up for a guy like a Jerry Jeudy or an Elijah Moore or someone else in that pass receiving core if the defense has to worry about Njoku.
Yeah, 100%. I think him coming back is going to help them sustain drives, which has been an issue for this football team so far. They are the last team in the league when it comes to converting on third downs. Ironically, they're like the best red zone team, but they can't get into the red zone. They've only been there 6 times, but they've scored on 5 of those 6 tries. So they need to sustain those drives longer, get put in those scoring kind of positions, and I think David Njoku really is going to be a key piece in that.
Okay, we mentioned it. Deshaun Watson spoke today. Nick Chubb returned to practice. David Njoku was back on the practice field. So much going on here. We covered it all at cleveland.com/Browns.